Hello everyone, it's Karina with Karina Loves to Plan. Thank you for joining me in my little corner of the internet where we talk all things planners, fountain pens, and fountain pen inks. And today I have something new that I want to share with you. First off, I want to say this video is sponsored by Writech, and they have sent me these items to review. So they've sent me their journaling set, which is the Retro Reverie, and it has their 6 retractable highlighters as well as 4 dual colored gel pens. And then they've sent me 2 of their Writech Clictek fountain pens. I've seen these in other people's videos and I was always curious about them, and then Writech reached out and wanted me to do a review on these. So I'm going to review all of these, basically take them out of the packaging, look at the specific parts of these. We'll do a writing sample, but I'll also compare it to some of the other retractable pens and fountain pens that I currently own. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to take a look at are the dual color gel pens. These are in the 0.5 millimeter and these are smudge proof ink, but look at how cool the pens look. But this will also give you an idea of what colors are in here. So this first one is dark green with amber. Then we have a lilac with, is that my eyesight, crest green, navy, and Persian red. And then finally Clictek and mauve. How cool. So this also just reminds me of, one, the Hobonichi pens, but 2, just a little bit of a fidget thingy. Oh, there's just something so satisfying about that. And then, I love that already. And the clicking action of these is the first thing I'm going to test here. And I'm actually pretty happy with how smooth and fun that is. And then I'm going to try and do that thing. Like as kids, we would always try to push all the colors down, but unfortunately it doesn't work, but fun. And then this one too, very smooth clicking action. And then I'm going to do the thing where I'm going to unscrew them and see what the insides look like. So the inside, you've got the 2 pens, but it also has little balls to protect them. So those will have to be taken off when I start using the pen. But I'm wondering with these particular ones, these gel pens, if these can be refilled. And I'll have to look into that to see if they can be refilled here. From first glance, I'm actually even looking at the Amazon website. There isn't a refill available for these really cool colors right now, but I hope that it's something that Writech do incorporate, because already the colors look really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and do a writing sample with these. Now again, these are in the 0.5 millimeter fine. The first one I'm going to sample is the lilac and the cress green. I can't read that. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm liking it. And if you didn't know, I am testing this in my Hobonichi A5 notebook. And this is the cress green. Cool. Oh my gosh, look at that. And then I'm just going to go see how thin that line is. That is a 0.5 line. Not bad, not bad. And then next we'll try the lilac. Oh, I really like that too. Yeah, no issues with flow in any of these. I am liking that already. And I do like the line width. And then in terms of like the wetness, it does still look like it's a little wet, but I don't see any shadowing, or let's just check the other side here. If there's any bleed through, a little bit on the Tomoe River paper, a little bit of shadowing, but shadowing is definitely a thing with Tomoe River paper, but I don't mind shadowing too much. And then we'll go ahead and test. We have Clictek and mauve. Oh, it would help if I actually remove these. There you go. So we have Clictek. Ooh, this actually reminds me a little bit of, no, that's incorrect. That's mauve. And that kind of reminds me of Sailor Shikiori Yozakura. And then we have Clictek. I actually really like how well the ink matches the color of the pen. That is really well done. And so far from these are actually all really legible, and I really like the line on these. Lovely. Then we have the dual color in the dark green and the amber. Oh my gosh, again, why am I forgetting that? There we go. So the dark green, I'm looking forward to this. Oh, that's lovely. I have a thing for greens right now. It looks like it says dark park green, but it's dark green. And I do like that line. I mean, me personally, I would love it if it was a little bit finer, but 0.5 I can certainly work with. And then the amber. Oops. There we go. Oh, that's a lovely color as well. I don't normally go for orangey colors, but I really like the combination of the dark green with the amber. Lovely. And then last but not least, we have navy and Persian red. Taking the little plastic off the edge of the tip here. Lovely dark. I feel like this is a good one for, and this is navy blue, for teachers when they're marking. Having a navy blue, and then, sorry, navy, just navy, and then the Persian red. Really great for marking. Oh, I like those different color combinations already. All right, so just to review again, you've got the dark green and amber, and I'm really liking that combination. No smudging, but it has been dry for a few seconds here. Then we've got mauve and chalate looking really lovely. No smudging that I'm getting from any of these, actually. Really, really well done. And then we have a lilac and cress green. And then lastly, navy and Persian red. Which one would be my favorite? I don't know, it's hard to choose because I really like the dark green, but I really love the mauve and chalate together. These are really pretty. Gorgeous. And I love that they come in this dual color combination. There's something about the clicky, but also having more than just your regular blue, black, or red in gel pens like this. What a great, great selection. Next, we're trying out the retractable highlighters, and of course this is when Lucy decides to bark. And it has a chisel tip, which means that it has both, ooh, love that clicking action, hold on, there we go. It has both the broad tip as well as being able to write with the fine tip on the one end. But this is one of those retractable highlighters, so feel that clicking action. It is quite smooth. It feels like you do have to put a little bit more pressure onto here, but then when you click on that, then it reverts back to it. Oh, look, and you can see that there's a little spring there as well. So when you click, you see the clip go up, and then when you click on this, it puts it back. I love that. So once again, click, and then you'll see the clip move up to lock the mechanism there, and then when you click on the clip here, wow, I love that. I love that. So it comes in various colors here. You've got chisel, we've got, oh, sorry, these are all chisel, but where's the color? Where's the color listed? Am I blind? Hold on. Oh, I'm not seeing where the colors are listed. Huh. That's okay. With no colors listed, then I'll just do a quick writing sample with these, but I am loving that. It's so satisfying to do this. So satisfying. Okay, anyway, let's get on with it. So then with the broad tip, got there, and then the fine tip. The fine tip is definitely a little bit more broad than what I normally like to write with. But I think if you hold it at a specific angle, you can try and get a bit of an extra fine, but it's got more of like a cursive, smooth italic or a stub type of feel. Then we have the pink. Again, I love how the clip is like the same color as the pen. That is a beautiful, beautiful pink. And then we've got the fine. Oh, this one is a little bit finer, that fine tip. I like that. And then we have this. I think this looks like the cress green that we had in our dual gel. Oh yeah, very similar to that. And this is the fine. The fine tip is still a little bit broad for me, but then again, I write with like Japanese extra fines, but still a really lovely color. I really like that. And then we have this green. I feel like that's more in line with like the highlighters that we see on a day-to-day basis, this type of pastel green. Then we have the blue. Oh, I like that shade. It's like a grayish blue. I really like that one. And really actually comfortable to hold. I think though if I'm writing with it with the fine tip, the clip might get in the way of my hand a little bit, but otherwise quite comfortable to hold. And then lastly, the mauve or the purple. Again, lovely. I say this, but I do have a few highlighters in my stationery collection. I don't use them that often, but these are really nice. And I love the whole retractable thing. Now, there isn't a way for me to open this and show you the parts of it inside, but one thing I would be curious about is if this is at all susceptible to drying out. That's the one thing I'd be concerned about. But if we look inside, you can see there is a door that opens and closes. I don't know if you're seeing that. Yeah, there's a door that opens and closes there that should help prevent any type of evaporation. So those are all in here. The retractable highlighters. I love the clicking capacity. I say clicking capacity, but clicking functionality of this. But I also like that you get the broad and the fine lines with this as well. Really happy to add these to my collection. Last but not least, we have the two Clictek fountain pens. I'm going to open both of these and I'll show you as many of the parts as I can, and then I'll compare it to other fountain pens in my collection, and then we'll go ahead and do a quick rating sample. So let's open this up. And when you open the box, it comes with the pen as well as 10 ink cartridges and the fountain pen user guide. So instructions here for how to open the pen and how to add the ink cartridge. So let's try this with the pink here first, if I can get it out. Move that out of the way here. Looking at the build of it though, I really like that. I like the little clear finial up at the top. You've got silver trim, and then you've got the flat door opening there, and then a little bit of a stiff clip. Yeah, the clip is a little bit stiff, and then clicking action. Okay, smooth, not as loud and clicky as the highlighters, but still satisfying. And then when you click it, it comes out of the door like so. Perfect. I wonder how that sealing mechanism is. And then when we open it, we see the empty cartridge, which means that it could probably be syringe filled with the ink of your choice. But for now, I'm going to take this out and show you how to add the cartridge in here. Okay, easy enough. And then let's go in and add a cartridge. I'd be tempted in the future to be able to like wash these cartridges out and then add in my own ink. So there's the cartridge, and then you can see there is the opening here that you basically have to, as the instructions say, you remove the empty ink cartridge by pulling it out and then insert the new ink cartridge firmly until you hear a click. I feel like I'm pushing out the pen though. There we go. There's the click, and we got to wait for the ink to go through. Now, you see the springs in here as well. I wish I could show you the full mechanism in here, but you see the springs, and we can take a little look at the way that's opening and closing. And then in here as well, into the cap, you'll be able to kind of see the spring mechanism that's in here. So let's go ahead and close this. And you do, I think, yeah, you do have to, it looks like push in to close it. Okay. I wonder if I could have done that without, yeah, it looks like it ends up having to, okay. I was just making it harder on myself. There we go. So ink cartridge in here. And we'll do the same with the purple one. Okay, it was user error. But the funny thing is the door looks like it's sticking out a little bit more on that one. So I don't know if I've done something to it. User error again. I hadn't pushed the cartridge all the way in, so now the door is where it should be and clicking action works as it should. Okay, let's put this away and then we'll do a quick comparison to others. Okay, let's do a quick size comparison of the Writech Clictek, and we'll compare it to other pens in my collection. So for example, we have the Pilot Vanishing Point, my other retractable pen, and then we'll compare it to other sizes that you're more familiar with as well. So we have the Pilot Kakuno, and I will also compare it to another Pilot, which I absolutely love. This is a Pilot Custom 74, and then we'll pair it with another pen that you might all be familiar with. This is the TWSBI Eco. So you can compare the sizing of it, but also do a quick measurement of this as well. In terms of the width of the pen, it feels actually quite nice in the hand, although it looks narrower than most. And I'll do a quick measurement now. If we take a look at the size of the grip section, we're getting about 11.45, which actually, it doesn't look like it's that big, but it is quite comfortable in the hand. Anything over 11 millimeters is quite comfortable for me. And then what you'll notice as well in the grip section, there's a few indentations here where you can place your thumb and forefinger, which make it very, very comfortable. And then comparing it to the other pens as well, and without being clicked, it's actually about the same length as the Pilot Vanishing Point and the Custom 74, and a tad shorter than the TWSBI Eco. But then when they're all clicked or uncapped, you'll see that the TWSBI Eco is now slightly shorter than the Writech, I think, when you go nib to tip. Yeah, there we go. It is a really good size compared to the other pens in my collection. So let's go ahead and do a quick writing sample. All right, so here we go. There we go. I actually really like that door mechanism. Let's just take a closer look at it. There you go. Look at that. And then look at the nib as well. I'm almost a little worried about the hinges here, but it seems to be working quite nicely. Like there is that portion right at the corner that bends just a little bit. So I'm wondering how long that will last. And I'm also wondering how well this seals. But let's do a quick writing test right now if the ink has gone to the nib. So here we go. We have the Clictek fountain pen, and this is in the purple, and this is in the fine nib. And from first impressions, that did smudge a little, but that was after like 2 seconds of writing. And then I'm going to do, we'll wait 5 seconds here. Still smudged a little bit. And then if we wait the 10 seconds, still a little bit of smudging. And then let's wait 20 seconds. Tiniest bit of smudging on 20 seconds, and then let's wait for the 30 seconds. All right, and then completely dry at 20 seconds. And I do like the size of this fine nib. Let's compare it to other fine nibs that I have in my collection, but let's just do a few line widths here. And actually this nib is quite smooth. I am happy with the smoothness of this nib. Yeah, no issues with the smoothness of that nib. So we'll compare it to a fine nib. Now I have a Pilot Custom 74. This is a 14 karat fine nib, so probably not the best comparison, but then we'll see the line variation. Not bad. I mean, it's not the same ink, so it's not the most scientifically correct test, but yeah, definitely similar in line with the Pilot is slightly finer, but I like that. And then if we compare it to the fine nib of, let's say, what's another fine nib that I don't have any fine nibs inked. I have a Sailor 18 karat fine nib, and I feel like this one is going to be a little finer. Yeah, this one is definitely finer than the top two, but still impressed with the writing sample on that so far. And then we'll do the pink one down here. So we've got Clictek fountain pen, and this is in them. Just double checking the box to make sure I get the, yep, it's pink. And again, the fine nib, and this is, keep forgetting to say that it's the retractable. Now I'm going to test this out and I guess leave it, I won't write with these for a couple of days, and then we'll come back to it and see how the ink does, or how the pens do when they're not written with for a couple of days, and then I'll come back here with my results. Okay, it is now 24 hours later. I've left one uncapped and one capped, and I haven't written with these since yesterday. So this is the 24, actually I'm going to write with the other one because I don't know how that one will go. So this is the 24-hour test. Okay, that's writing well, and this one is the capped. Writing well, still very smooth. And then this is uncapped, so it's been uncapped since yesterday. And uncapped, hard starting, but it still ended up writing. So some hard start, but once it gets going, it's good. All right, I'll come back at the 48 hour mark, or when I say 48 hours, it'll be 48 hours from now. All right, so it is now actually, instead of 48 hours later, I totally forgot to film this before I left for Portland. So it is now Monday. So this has been uncapped and unused. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So how many hours is that? Let's say, what, 4 days? So this is 4 days later, and I'm going to do this one first. So this is the one that has been capped essentially. Let's zoom in. So this is 4 days later and still working beautifully. This is the capped, no issues. So, and it doesn't look like there's any evaporation happening there at all either. Now this is probably not as visible with black ink, but if I had a different ink in here, then maybe you could see. But I mean, even just comparing the two, there doesn't seem to be a difference in the shading of the black ink. So not much evaporation there, even after not being used for 4 days. And then the one that's been uncapped, I know that this one's gonna probably have a hard start, but let's see if this is like completely, oh, hold on. How long is it gonna take to get it started? Or is it completely dried out after 4 days? It's taking a little bit of time, but I think once you get it going, there it is. So this is the uncapped. And it did have the hard starts, but once it starts going again, it's smooth. And yeah, absolutely fine. So that's really impressive that it didn't dry out completely. Yes, it did have a little bit of a hard start. Being left uncapped for 4 days and then still being able to do that is really, really impressive. Once again, thank you so much to Writech for sponsoring this video and sending me these items to review. I am really impressed with these retractable pens, considering the other retractable pens that I have. You know, you have the Pilot Vanishing Point, and then you have the Jinhao 10 and the Jinhao 20. These, while, you know, great construction, dry out really, really easily, and the evaporation is a huge issue with these. This one is so much more expensive. While yes, it does come with a gold nib, it's just so much more expensive. But these, if you're looking for a retractable fountain pen at a fraction of the price, but still functions really well, I highly recommend the Writech Clictek. And I'm not just saying that because this video is being sponsored by Writech, but after testing and letting it do its thing for how many days, I'm still really impressed with this. I might actually take this with me on my trip to England as my planner pen, or just the pen that just is coming along with me just in case I need to take any notes or anything. All right, but that is it for me. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have any questions, please let me know down below. Otherwise, don't forget to hit that like button and to subscribe. Thanks again, and have yourselves a great day.